Welcome to Let Me Know How It Is, a pop culture podcast about animation, TV, movies, comics, and more. Ho 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 or bah humbug, either way, 'tis the season, so we're talking about more Christmas specials and TV episodes. I'm Clifton.
I'm Frank Melman.
And I'm Zach Slater.
We covered this topic once before, way back in December of 2020, and we love Christmas so much here that we can't believe we haven't revisited it before now. But to refresh our regular listeners and to bring new listeners up to speed, Zach has a recap of that episode.
Yeah, so like Clifton said, so we did this back in December 23rd of 2020, episode 53 called Deck the Halls with Christmas Specials. It was a good one. So, but I wanted to go over a little bit the episodes that we talked about there. So Tommy, I'll start with him. He had first episode of The Simpsons roasting on an open fire. He then switched to American Dad, For Whom the Sleigh Bell Tolls, and then King of the Hill, Pretty Dresses, which I just rewatched this one actually.
So he's on a big Fox primetime animation kick on that episode.
Yeah. No, this was a good one.
Yeah.
This was a good one, actually. The Pretty Dresses I liked a lot. Frank, you had Moonlighting. Was the episode before Christmas.
Shocker.
Community. Regional holiday music.
It's a great one.
And the Extras Christmas special.
Oh, the best. So good.
So you can't use the Moonlighting episode again this
Fair
time.
enough. I won't use that one.
Sorry, Frank.
All right.
Clifton, you had Real Ghostbusters, Xmas Marks the Spot,
and
X-Men Evolution on Angel's Wings.
That's a good one.
Yeah, they are. Both of them really good, actually. And then I had the Powerpuff Girls Christmas special, 'Twas the Fight Before Christmas.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Family Matters, Christmas is Where the Heart Is, and Batman the Animated Series Holiday Nights.
Okay.
So we will not be covering those episodes in this episode. So if you like to hear our takes on those, go back and listen to that one, episode 53.
So for now, we're going to bring you even more new picks for some favorite TV Christmas specials and episodes. So we're going to start it off. Our last new episode we did was actually covering Halloween specials. And in that one, we saved the big Megillah of Halloween specials for the very end. We kind of withheld it. But I'm starting off this one with the big Megillah of Christmas specials, which is A Charlie Brown Christmas from 1965, which, I mean, it's an absolute classic. It's been, ever since it first premiered in 1965. Just it's one of the few absolutely quintessential Christmas specials that everyone has to see so many times, if not every year. Everyone's seen it a ton. But for many people, they got to see it every single year. Based on classic Charlie Brown, Peanuts characters. The special is actually written by Charles Schultz himself, directed by Bill Melendez, and music by legendary composer Vince Guaraldi. Legendary soundtrack in and of itself. Can't have the Charlie Brown dancing without the Vince Guaraldi trio on music. This one is available to watch on Apple Plus, like Great Pumpkin was at Halloween time. It's probably making the circuit around some other channels too, but if you want to go watch it streaming, that's where you can easily watch it streaming right now.
This one is pretty darn sacred. We're all big animation people here on the show, and this one I know is loved even by people who I don't like cartoons.
Yeah. It was the first of the Peanuts specials. Great Pumpkin was the second one. So I mean, they were hitting home runs out of the park right out in the first inning, basically. I mean, there's a little bit of that comic strip feel where it's little vignettes again that you get in a lot of the early Peanut specials, where he would kind of take things from the comic strip and gags and put them together. But this one, I mean, it's just such a heartfelt story of Charlie Brown trying to find his place at Christmas when nobody likes Charlie Brown. That's the thing, is they all hate Charlie Brown. And he just wants to belong, and he just wants to have a happy Christmas. There's the gag where he thanks somebody for inviting him to the party sarcastically, and they're like, I didn't invite you.
Yeah.
They don't even feel bad about it. He can't even make them feel bad about it. Poor Charlie Brown.
That's the gag where he's on the list of people not to invite, and somehow
No, that's in the Great Pumpkin. So it's
that's
a
in the Great
recurring
Pumpkin?
theme.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a recurring theme.
God, they're so cruel to him.
No, this one might have not been the party. This one might have been the Christmas card. He might have thanked someone for sending him a Christmas card. They're like, I didn't send you anything. But yeah, the Charlie Brown Christmas tree, iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Where they still sell like that actual tree, like the plastic version of that ugly tree. And I have no idea how many people have that in their house every Christmas, but I'm sure it's a lot.
Well, anytime you have a scrawny tree, it's a Charlie Brown tree.
It's just become a pop culture staple. It's just like well, not just pop culture. Like everybody wants that lonely, scraggly tree because it's the Charlie Brown Christmas tree, the last one on the lot.
I was thinking about this one recently because we have a radio station out where we live, Washington D.C. area, that plays like Christmas music like nonstop.
Right.
And among them, it's not uncommon to hear like Vince Guaraldi stuff from Peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about it when it came on. I was just like, how putting myself in the mindset of like he made this when there was no Peanuts theme.
Right.
Right. Like it was a blank slate when he got to do it. And I'm just thinking about like how I don't know that there's anybody who nailed music better on any project than Vince Guaraldi did.
Right. Yeah. And just like how it goes with the animation of that time, like that kind of like mid 60s minimalist, like sketchy hand drawn, trying to capture the feel of the Charles Schultz, like drawn comic strip. Like everything about it just works. Everything about it goes together so well.
Mm-hmm.
Like nicely painted backgrounds, like in the high definition one, you can kind of see like the sketch work, like the line work of the animation. Almost, it's kind of nice to see. Just like it's kind of crude, but it's also like so beautiful at the same time. Just I love it.
Yeah, you can tell it's handmade. That's really the cool part.
Mm-hmm.
And kids actually playing the characters.
Yeah, voicing the characters like young, like actually getting young voice actors,
which I think is a big part because today it would be adults talking high,
right? Yeah, like your Christine Cavanaugh. And, yeah, it was a little experimental at the time, I'm sure, even then. So that's the big iconic Christmas one, or at least one of the big iconic Christmas ones, and just wanted to get that covered right out of the gate. So what are the big ones that jump out to you all?
My list is, there's going to be some that don't surprise you, and I think I may have one or two that come out of left field that maybe you guys don't expect.
All right.
So I'll start with one of those. This is a new one, newest addition to my favorite Christmas episodes list, and that is Teen Titans Go. It's titled The Holiday Story from season 7, episode 32. And this is in the realm of like, all holiday specials are the same. Let's do something completely different. Okay. Now, I am not a religious watcher of this show, but I've seen here and there. So I guess Santa Claus is like a bad guy in this universe, or there's a bad guy named Santa Claus also. Like, I don't know. I don't quite know what's happening here. But this one opens up with Beast Boy, and he's got like a bag full of presents, and he like just finished up his shopping, and he's like attacked by Santa. He's like, Santa, like, right? There's like a little fight with him, and then after the fight, like Santa tells Beast Boy this sob story about how he's all alone on Christmas because he doesn't have all of his friends are gone and all this stuff, and he recounts a story in Cuba in 1953, where he was together with his friends, the Holiday Mob, right? Which was led by New Year's Baby, right? Who's like the baby from Roger Rabbit.
Okay.
And then there's like a Thanksgiving turkey and the Easter bunny over there. So Santa leads a coup trying to take over the Holiday Mob in Cuba that year, and then he gets excommunicated from the mob, and he's trying desperately to get back in there. So he enlists Beast Boy to help him get back into the mob, right?
Okay.
And then so New Year's Baby is like okay, Santa, like you can come back, but for a test, we're gonna send you. You got to visit some people that need some persuading.
Oh dear.
And so he goes to George Washington,
What?
right?
Okay.
And he says, and there's a scene in which Santa is shaking down George Washington for the money that gets paid on President's Day, right? Like it's a where's the money, George Washington? Cough it up, give it, right?
Wow. Okay.
And they visit like the groundhog from Groundhog's Day, and all this other, and it's just like this weird, silly, whacked out crime spoof holiday, that plays with tropes and then is the tropes on its side. I love this one. It's so stupid, but it's great.
Okay.
I've not seen that one, but it does sound like a unique.
I don't know that one at all.
Yeah.
Sounds like a unique Christmas episode.
Yeah, it's maybe the most unique one I've ever seen. Like, I mean, it's just it like everything I just said, and it's 11 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Everything I said is in 11 minutes. And it's like, and it's like, it's funny. It's like, and surprising. And yeah, no, I can't say enough good. Like, it was the first one it was the one I led with. Like, I'm excited about this one. This is going to be a one I watch every year because it's fun.
Oh, wow. What year did this? You said it was season 7. What year was season 7 for Teen
Season
Titans
7.
Go?
That's a good question. I actually don't know what season.
Okay, I was just curious. Yeah, it's been going forever at this point.
I think it's from last year. I think they're in season 8 now.
Okay, so it is a brand new one, or pretty new for the way things go. You got one you want to start off with, Frank?
Sure, I've got one. This is a more recent episode, holiday themed. It's Christmas, I believe. Yeah, it's Christmas. That's why I said check it. I was one of those, at the moment of like, because it feels like it's the reason why I say that, because it's centered around a meal, and for some reason my brain's like, is it Thanksgiving? And no, it's Christmas. This is from actually June 22nd of 2023. It's from The Bear.
Okay, I've still not seen any of The Bear.
Yeah, The Bear is phenomenal. I love The Bear. I spent a lot of my career, if you want to call it, in restaurants. I worked a ton of restaurants, both back of the house, front of the house, did all that stuff. But this particular one is every season, so far, at least for the 2 seasons they've had, they give you an episode that kind of is a throwback that basically explains, like, gives a little more context to things that people talk about. And a lot of the show is conversation. A lot of it is frenetically paced because of the pacing of working in a restaurant to begin with.
Right.
This one in particular is called Fishes, and it's the 6th episode in season 2. It's basically the main character who is I'm blanking on his name. I don't know.
Is it Jeremy Allen White?
Yes, he's the main character.
I just saw him in The Iron Claw. It was very good.
Well, good.
Yeah.
But yes, Carmi is the executive chef, main character of the show. This is the Carmi Brazato. This is the Brazato's family. They've gathered for Christmas dinner, and it starts out as if whether you're part of a large family where you have a lot of siblings, or you have a lot of like cousins, and you have that one member of the extended family or of your own family that everyone says, listen, so and so's at a 9, about to go to a 10, and we have to make sure that no one sets him or her off. That's basically what this episode is the Carmi and his brother and sister basically are saying, listen, we can't set off mom. Mom's ready to go off. She's trying to get the dinner together for everybody. And, there's cousins and, boyfriends and extended family, and everyone's hungry and everyone's kind of sniping at one another. Some of it starts out kind of innocent and then starts to take a darker tone, as sometimes family conversations will, of just, old wounds or old things that people bring up or stuff that people don't let off of. And this tension just builds and builds and builds over the course of an hour and like 6 or 10 minutes. I don't know how long it is, but it's a little over an hour. But it's great. I will warn you, if you come from a family of you're not used to a family that communicates in yelling, you probably won't like this episode. But if you're used to that sort of thing where people get upset, but there's still some semblance of love and appreciation of each other. But a lot of it is also just the tension of the holiday. And then, like I said, just the powder keg, sometime of family stuff where you're just like, I just want to get through this holiday and enjoy myself. And then it's, it's a question. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. It's a question of whether or not that actually happens.
Okay.
But it's shot, a lot of it is shot as a lot of the action, a lot of it does take place around a dinner table and in the kitchen. And you can feel the heat and the bubbling over of the meal, as well as the bubbling over of people's emotions. It's got a ton of great cameos in it. I don't want to ruin that for anybody. I just recommend The Bear. This episode in particular is really, really great as holiday episodes go. It's not necessarily a pick-me-up, but...
But holidays aren't always a pick-me-up.
No, they're not always, so...
Yeah, I'm meaning to watch the show. I can't wait to get to that one in it now. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
I've been really behind on watching it. I feel like I was like the first person to watch the trailer for The Bear, and I told people about it who were like, "No, I never heard of that. I don't know what that is." And like everybody's lapped me.
Well, I mean, I had a lot of my people, like my restaurant friends, who were like, "No, you don't understand." And I'm like, you lived that sort of life for as long as I did. I don't want to necessarily revisit it, but I mean, I will say this, there are parts of it that are very, very realistic. And then other parts are like, not so much. But for
causing some flashbacks.
Yeah, there's some stuff they just absolutely nail for sure. So, but yeah, this episode in particular, just, like I said, if you've ever had the tense family holiday, and you want to relive it, this one's for you. So happy holidays, everybody.
That sounds fun, actually.
It's good. It's really well done.
I'm going to make up for our Halloween episode where I had no animation.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
By having a lot of animation on this one.
All right.
Not all, but this one is very near and dear to my heart. Have you guys seen Prep and Landing?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
No, what is it? I don't know what that is.
Okay. Prep and Landing is it's a Disney special that came out in 2009. And what it is, it's about the elves who work for Prep and Landing, which is kind of like they're the advanced team for Santa. So they go to the house before Santa goes and they prep everything for him so he can get in and out quick.
Gotcha.
Right? And there's all kinds of like fun, like covert op, Christmassy joke stuff with, call letters and call signs and stuff like that. So it came out 2009. It was a TV special. And I think the hope was that they wanted these to be bigger because the title sequence on there is Lanny and Wayne, the Christmas elves in Prep and Landing. And so I think they were hoping that the characters took off a little bit more.
Right.
And for me, I don't know why they didn't, because it's great. But so the basic setup here is Wayne has been working for Prep and Landing forever. He's a veteran of it, and he's ready to he's hoping for a promotion, that he's ready to move on to a desk job. Right. He's doing the Murtaugh, like, I'm getting too old for this. Right.
Right.
He's like, the promotion's like all in the bag, and then it turns out his partner gets the promotion instead of him, and he's like, I trained him, like like I should be just as qualified, right? So he gets paired up with a new partner who's Lanny, and Lanny's full of excitement and gumption, and happy to be there, and so Wayne this particular Christmas is a little down in the dumps and just sort of like, whatever, kid, you got it. We'll be fine. And, not really showing him the ropes. And then in the process, messes up Christmas for one of the houses on their route. And he's trying desperately to fix the problem. So it's great. I love it. Like I said, this one came out in 2009. They did a short called Operation Secret Santa in 2010. And then they did another special called Prep and Landing Naughty versus Nice, which is Wayne and his brother Noel, who comes in to help out. And so I think there was a little bit of traction here, and then like we haven't seen anything from it since the Naughty versus Nice one.
Yeah.
And I make no apologies for it whatsoever. I mean, they're unapologetically great. They're really, really good. And they're all on Disney Plus right now if you want to check them out. Because they're underrated. Super underrated.
I think I've seen both of them. I think I enjoyed both of them. And yeah, I was expecting it to be like, like an annual thing. Like they just keep making these things because they were really, really invested in them. Like they were really giving them a push. And then it just didn't happen anymore. But definitely check out the two that exist. Yeah.
It just didn't get the return that they wanted, do you think? Or is it one of those things where they were, what do you think it was?
I don't know. This was CG animated, so it had kind of like the Pixar rub on it, even though it wasn't necessarily Pixar. But this is when like John Lasseter, the head honcho of Pixar at the time, was also like brought in to run Disney animation too. So, but yeah, I don't quite know what the issue here. I mean, my only thing is that maybe it just didn't pull in the ratings like they hoped.
Right.
But I think it's pretty clear they were hoping that they were going to have kind of like another Charlie Brown Christmas on their hands.
Or as always could be the case with animation, the merchandising didn't pan out the way they wanted. Unfortunately,
very true.
That's how the business works a lot.
Yeah,
they didn't sell enough plushies. Possibly, I don't know.
It sounds about right.
So on my list, one that almost made my list is Bing Crosby's "Merry Old Christmas" from 1977. Despite the fact that I've only ever seen one scene from it. That scene, of course, is "Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy," featuring Bing Crosby and David Bowie.
Just heard that this morning.
Oh, is that where that's from?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
That's from an old Bing Crosby Christmas special.
Yes, the awkward. Oh, look who dropped by.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm a massive Bowie fan, massive. So I wanted to put it on the list, but refrained due to not having seen the rest of that special. But that one scene is.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
The "Peace on Earth" bit in the song.
Yeah.
Is David Bowie going rogue on that?
No, it was a recorded track, so I think it was a planned medley of sorts because Bowie did release it as a B-side on an album.
Okay,
so I think it was a planned track. I'm pretty sure it was a planned medley.
And at that point, I don't think Bing Crosby would have been cool with him doing whatever he wanted to do. I think he would have been very strict about what they did.
No, that's what I mean, though. I mean, I it's been forever since I've seen it, but I thought that Bing Crosby made like a face that's sort of like, what are you doing? Like,
you're going rogue.
Yeah.
No, I think it was probably planned, as my guess. But yeah, like if you've seen the video, like Frank was saying, it's got the knock at the door with the surprise, like, oh, who could that be coming to my cozy fake fireplace TV studio home on a night like this? Oh my, why it's David Bowie.
Right. It's Ziggy Stardust. What? No.
Yeah, it's like the Chris Martin on Extras.
It's mental.
It's mental.
That's right. When the whistle blows, he just shows up out of nowhere. Yeah,
Chris Martin be in a warehouse in Wigan.
Yeah, it's mental. Yeah.
But yeah, so this one did not make it on my list. But I am going with something else that has that same old nostalgic, awkward energy. And that is, of course, A Very Murray Christmas from 2015, starring Bill Murray.
Ah, yeah.
Made for Netflix. Have either of you seen that one?
I haven't. I can't believe it's that old.
Yeah,
yes,
that's it
is that old now.
I remember it came out, and I'm like, I made a mental note to check it and watch it, and then didn't get to it.
Okay. I'm not sure if I can say it is good.
Okay.
But I am sure I can say it must be watched at least once just to experience it. So it makes my list for that. I'm I enjoy it, but it is weird because it's just like that Bing Crosby, David Bowie awkward moment at the door, but for a whole hour. It's just trying to recreate that moment from those old timey specials, and it's got a guest list of, obviously stars Bill Murray. The premise is that he's snowed in at a hotel in New York, and other people just happen to be snowed in there too, or in the area. And it's got Paul Schaefer playing in the lounge at the hotel.
Okay.
Michael Cera, George Clooney's in a dream sequence appearance with Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, I remember Miley Cyrus being listed. That was the only one for sure I remember.
Chris Rock, Rashida Jones, Maya Rudolph, Jason Schwartzman.
Oh man, I was gonna say Maya Rudolph as a joke. It's
No,
like Maya Rudolph, what are you doing here? Like, that's funny.
And Jenny Lewis of Rilo Kiley, who was also the co-star with Fred Savage in The Wizard.
Wow.
Everybody remembers The Wizard.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, she's in as well. And what will make some of this make sense is that it was directed by Sofia Coppola. Yeah,
okay.
if that helps explain some stuff.
Okay.
So directed by Sofia Coppola, written by Sofia Coppola, Mitch Glazer, and Bill Murray. Stars Bill Murray, Paul Shaver, tons of people, all in that. Like, oh, now Chris Rock's here. Like Chris Rock just walked in the hotel in this blizzard. Let's sing a song.
They should have said it at 30 Rock.
I don't know if the Netflix wanted to do any cross promotion.
Any cross promotion? Yeah, no, probably not. But I mean, it just
not.
like as you're explaining it, like it smells of that.
Yeah,
or like a bunch of ex SNL alum and Will Ferrell,
right?
Chris Kattan. What do you do?
Oh, and the bartender, David Johansen.
Wow.
Is the bartender who has another Christmas, not TV special connection, but Christmas movie connection.
I was going to say.
You want to go for it, Frank?
Is he the Ghost of Christmas Past?
Yes, in Scrooge.
Yeah.
With Bill Murray. So Bill Murray brought him
ghost. That's what I remember him saying.
Yeah, so he's the bartender in this Christmas special. It's nice to see him again.
Yeah.
2015.
Cool. 2015. So it's still on Netflix. You can watch it on Netflix whenever you want. I recommend watching it at least once just to experience it.
Let me see here. I promised animation. And so I'm going to go with, you guys remember Have Yourself a Morlock Christmas from X-Men the Animated Series?
No.
Vaguely, yes.
Okay. Season 4, episode 17.
All right.
Again, I'm saying also like nothing on my list is here ironically. Like I genuinely all really like these, and I like sort of the boldness to this episode. Now it's been a while since I've seen it. I will admit, but I remember there's no action sequences in it. For a Saturday morning cartoon, that's pretty darn bold, I think.
Right.
And the plot on this one centers around basically like, it's Jubilee, Wolverine, Storm. They're out Christmas. They're doing like the Rockefeller Center, like ice skating and stuff like that. And then they get one of the Morlocks comes out and says we need your help. And this is like when Storm is still, air quote, the leader of the Morlocks, right?
Okay, right.
And they go back and then they find that that Leech is sick. Leech is like terminally sick, and they got to figure out like some way to like get him better. And you see where this is going, that they hook up Wolverine to his healing factor is going to basically, cure the disease for him and everything. So, I hear you already. Leech is supposed to dampen the powers. What I will say, I do think the show plays fair because, to be perfectly honest, I don't know that Leech's mutant power is ever named in the show. And I mean, the Morlocks popped up here and there, but they weren't in a ton of episodes. And Leech is in their first appearance, and I think it's just sort of played that I guess it's sort of like his appearance is his mutant power.
Right.
Right. And so, because there's no reference to the fact that like he nullifies mutation in any way. And it's just sort of like a sweet, cool episode of let's appreciate what we have while we have it. Does a good job with the like you can have Christmas anywhere kind of trope that you see in in some of these specials from time to time. Yeah, no, I really like this one.
Sounds cool. It sounds familiar too, but I don't think I've seen it.
I think I remember seeing it and being surprised that like X-Men the Animated Series was doing a Christmas episode with Morlocks. It's not normally the thing you would think to go to with that one.
No. Not Christmas in the Sewers unless it's the Turtles. Doesn't really...
Right.
not something you would really probably expect to see.
And these I imagine are on Disney Plus as well now.
I think so.
Check that one out.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I haven't checked. I think they are on there, and and it's getting ready to come back. I know X-Men 97 is supposed to be in 24 sometime. So yeah, season 4, episode 17. If I didn't say that already, maybe I did.
Right.
But yeah, it's a good one.
Okay.
So I have one
All right.
that I was kind of surprised I didn't mention before, knowing the stuff that I always mention.
And it's not moonlighting.
It's not moonlighting.
Okay.
It's not. I thought about that, but I'm like, no, I would go with another favorite show of mine, and it's WKRP in Cincinnati.
Of course, yeah.
And then there were a couple of Christmas episodes. One was Bah Humbug, which is pretty much a Christmas Carol rip.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of it, or you're saying Bah Humbug?
No, Bah Humbug is the name of the episode. But yeah, this particular one, Mr. Carlson, the big guy, has one of Johnny's funny brownies.
Okay.
And ends up taking a nap in his office, and you're not really sure if it's a nap or if it's actually like happening to him. But it's a Christmas Carol trope of he basically doesn't have the Christmas bonuses for everybody. He's kind of snarky and not normally his lovable, dopey self, in order to fit the Scrooge role. And then he's visited by 3 ghosts. He's visited by his grandfather who ran the station, and then tells him, you're going to be visited by 3 ghosts, and it's Venus and Jennifer and Johnny. Well, okay. I think it's Jennifer is the ghost of Christmas past, and then Venus Flytrap is the ghost of Christmas present, and then Johnny Fever, Dr. Johnny Fever is the ghost of Christmas future, right? And basically, it's a typical. It's not my favorite KRP Christmas. It's good, but it's not the one that I like. I think this one, it's a trope, using the Christmas Carol bit.
Yeah.
The other one that I really do like, I think is probably the better one, is in season 2, episode 11, is Jennifer's Home for Christmas, and basically it's pretty much it starts off with Johnny Fever having to play like 12 hours of Christmas music, and he's not thrilled to have to listen to these syrupy, sappy songs because he's not really about that. I do remember, even as a kid, it's the first place I ever heard that Barking Dog's doing Jingle Bells. Like, I think that might be the first place like it debuted. Like, a lot of music debuted on KRP, and I think that's where it debuted, was during one of his when he was on the air.
Okay.
But it's great. He's like, this is a song that sums up Christmas for me, and then he plays the and then which was awesome. What I love about the episode is when you get a really good ensemble cast and they're in a sitcom, somewhat in drama too, but just the idea of the chosen family over your actual family. And Jennifer's excited to have the Christmas party with everybody, but everybody's kind of like, Christmas sucks. I've got so much nonsense going on. Like Herb he's like, there's all these people in my house. He's like, I showered with a bald man this morning. This is not how I wanted to spend the week before Christmas. And Bailey's upset because she has to fly to Chicago, and then airports are a nightmare during the holidays. And but basically Venus realizes that, and the other thing is it's also got the thing of like, well, surely Jennifer's got plans, right? I mean, Jennifer's a knockout, and she's super smart, and she's got all these rich friends and stuff. So surely she has plans. And it turns out she doesn't really have anybody for Christmas, because she was hoping to have the nice Christmas party, but everybody's sort of like not in the mood for Christmas stuff. And then by the end of the episode, everyone sort of mad dash pulls it together and realizes they have the nice chosen family Christmas with Jennifer in her apartment.
Okay.
And that one's, I think, not that I don't like the other one, but I think this one's the better one, and I think it definitely demonstrates what the show's about, is the fact that they pulled together, even though they're a bunch of misfits most of the time. So,
how many Christmas episodes do they have?
I think they have maybe one more. I'd have to look that up because I don't know for sure. Those are 2 that I could remember when I was thinking about Christmas.
Did they only go 3 seasons?
They're 4.
4 seasons. Okay, wow. Still 3 and 4 seasons. That's a lot.
I think. Now I could be wrong. I could be remembering like parts of 2 put together. But like the Jennifer's Home for Christmas, I thought was another episode until I started looking at the details. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Now I remember it.
Okay.
Because I thought it was another one where she actually moves from her apartment to a house. That's a really great episode, but that's not a Christmas episode. So, but I highly recommend. Both are great. KRP is great. It's not really streaming anywhere. You can find it like YouTube in various places if you do a search. People have been, good or badly, shame on them or not shame on them, putting episodes on the internet. But like a lot of shows, because of the music, it's hard to get it the way it aired. Now there's a couple DVD sets of it. One has like the music dubbed out just generic rock, and then other ones have a lot of the actual songs.
I guess we should say too, because when we did our first episode back in 2020 and you had Moonlighting on there, Moonlighting wasn't available anywhere. Moonlighting just became available on streaming recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, believe it or not.
Which is where?
Hulu, right? Of all places.
Hulu, okay.
Yeah, it's on Moonlighting's on Hulu.
That was a big life event for Frank.
It was. I was busy for a couple days of,
Yeah, I was going to ask how many times you've watched it through since we went to Hulu.
Not all the way through, but I'm good way through my rewatch. I'll put it that way.
Okay, nice. I need to start my rewatch.
Me too.
It holds up. A lot of it holds up. So
all right. Yeah, for the WKRP one, that sounds like the second one you described. Like, yeah, it sounds like it captures the spirit of the show without being like it's all just a dream.
Right.
Which is really nice that they can work Christmas into like the spirit of the characters, like the actual spirit of the characters in the show. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And I've watched, like, my parents grew up in Cincinnati. That's where most of my family's from.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I grew up on WKRP, but I don't remember these episodes. It's been a while since I've been able to see it, just because it's not available many places to see. The Thanksgiving one pops up on like MeTV every year.
Sure.
Yeah.
Another classic for that holiday. But yeah, I need to watch more of this one too.
Mm-hmm.
So as I said, I'm a big Christmas episode fan, and I think part of the reason for that is also that I like the hokey ones too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not I know that a lot of people, when they set out to make one, like I was talking with the Teen Titans, like they try and they're motivated by really like what can we do that hasn't been done before? Or what can we do that's sort of like, we don't want to do this sugary sweet stuff, but I like that stuff genuinely.
Right.
So
the earnest ones.
Yeah. So that's why I also I dig a lot of the TGIF ones.
Yeah.
And I had Family Matters last year, or last time, and that one was my top Christmas episode that Family Matters did. But they did a bunch of them too. And so I'm going to throw two more out there. So one is called It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Urkel from season 4, episode 10. And this is like the It's a Wonderful Life style episode. So Steve is clumsy, breaks a present that Laura was, buying for her mom. It was something crystal and glass. This happened in virtually every single Family Matters Christmas episode, and she gets mad at him and yells, yada, yada, yada. And then Laura's guardian angel pops up, played by Clifton. You'll recognize him, T.K. Carter.
Okay, from Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
Yep. Milo from Good Morning, Miss Bliss, Saved by the Bell. Everybody loves Milo.
All right.
So, he shows up in the trench coat, and he doesn't have his wings. And if he does good on this, he's going to get his wings. I mean, it's a Wonderful Life top to bottom. Right. But so the hook of this episode, though, is he puts her in a situation where he's like, how do you think Steve feels? And the hook of this sequence is then you see the Winslow family as if Steve was a Winslow. So there's Steve Winslow, and it's like one of the first indications of Jaleel White not playing nerdy Steve.
Okay.
Right? Before Stefan Urkel was a thing. And then you have Laura coming in doing the Steve Urkel shtick. Right? And it's really funny. And it's really cool to see sort of the role reversal of she's in love with him and he's like, get lost, Laura. That sort of stuff. And she's clumsy and she breaks stuff. And so that's the fun bit about that one. Which, I'm surprised that we got this many in and this is the first It's a Wonderful Life reference.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I like a lot, I don't know why. Admittedly, this one's a little is weird. For Family Matters, this is weird. And it's called It Came Upon a Midnight Clear from season 8.
Okay.
And so this was when after Steve cloned himself, and so you had Steve Urkel and Stefan Urkel walking around together at the same time. So he was in dual role at this point. So there's a Stefan subplot that, it's all right. You can ignore it. But the hook of this one is Steve and Carl go out to the woods to chop down the Christmas tree, and it starts to snow, and they get lost. And it's like one of those, like, are we gonna make it home?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I realize that's a Christmas trope, like get home for Christmas, but
Mm-hmm.
it's really not so much that as much as it is like we might die in the woods.
Right.
And I don't know why I like this one, but I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the many times the Winslow family learns, Steve, you're annoying, but I'm sorry. Let's make up, and you mean a lot to me, which was a learned moment in literally every episode.
Lesson didn't stick.
Yeah, but no, they're fun. They're fun.
Yeah. So I'm going back to the 90s as well for my next one. And this one is Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree from 1995, which, just a little summary, is a single Christmas tree becomes the source of cheer for the people and animals living around Mr. Willoughby's estate, based on the children's book of the same name. And I had completely forgotten about this one. But there was a social media account on Instagram and I believe also on Threads called Muppet History. And they recently brought attention to this forgotten one again. They posted about it just, I think, a few weeks ago. And you can find it on YouTube. That's pretty much the only place you can find it. But you can find the whole special on YouTube. It ran in 1995. It's a Jim Henson production. And it stars a younger Robert Downey Jr. Playing Mr. Willoughby and a perpetually older Leslie Nielsen who is playing his butler, and I guess like a regular middle-aged Stockard Channing as the maid.
Wow.
Is the live action cast in this Muppet puppet presentation. You can't do Christmas without the Muppets to me, because if we were doing movie ones like Muppet Christmas Carol. But so for TV specials, I'll go with the Muppet one as well, which is this one. And it's just a cute, Muppet puppet earnest Christmas adventure about these mice trying to find a Christmas tree and end up going for a ride because like the humans cut down the tree that they were trying to cut the top off of. And then it's too big for the Mr. Willoughby's estate, so they cut the top off, but it's still too big for the mice, and it just keeps working its way through different places where everyone cuts the top off until they get a tree that's right for them. That's the right size for them. But no, it was funny to go back and see Robert Downey Jr. from that point in time when he was in the indie movie phase of his career, not long after that or right around that time.
Okay.
Just to be doing a Jim Henson like Christmas special with Leslie Nielsen and Stockard Channing. It's worth checking out.
That's so crazy.
Directed by John Stone, written by the book that the story's based on was written by Robert Barry, the children's book, and screenplay by Mitchell Kriegman. So yeah, it was pretty much forgotten until Muppet History, the
Right.
Instagram Threads account, shines some light on it again.
Man, I wish Leslie Nielsen was in the MCU.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And always seemed old to me, no matter what I saw.
No,
like,
yeah, it's the hair.
Like he was never young.
Yeah.
Right.
He's never young, yeah. Except in Forbidden Planet.
Right. Okay. Is he actually young? He didn't have white hair yet then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe he did and they dyed it then. I have no idea. Like,
right.
I wish I could talk more about this. I'd never even heard of this one. That's why I'm kind of like blown. Like, it's hard for me to imagine Robert Downey and Leslie Nielsen occupying the same Hollywood, yet alone the same
same Muppet movie,
same project.
Right.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's fun. It's worth seeing. And then I do have another like Muppet follow up, which is Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
That's a good one.
From 1977, which again, if you just want some like really earnest Jim Henson heart, Jerry Jewell, I think was one of the main forces in this one. Jerry Jewell being Jim Henson's one of Jim Henson's creative partners, along with Frank Oz and others in the creation of Muppets and in all the early Muppet stuff. I think he was the big hand in Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, but it's just so sweet. It's got a bit of like, what's the O. Henry the gift of the Magi. Like there's a little bit of gift of the Magi with his otter and his mother just trying to care for each other in this like kind of country bearish world. It's really cute too. And that one I think is also on YouTube, and I'm not sure where else. Which I feel like that one should be easier to find because
it should be on Disney Plus, but it's not.
It's not. I looked. Yeah, I was trying to watch it there. So somehow it's not there, but it is a really good, earnest, heartfelt one. What's really cool music, like really cool, like bluegrassy, like soundtrack to it.
Nice.
Yeah. So those are my Jim Henson picks from days gone by.
Yep. I remember being excited because it used to be on. They used to run it on, I think, HBO. It was one of the places you could see.
Oh, that sounds right, because they had Fraggles, so they did do stuff with Jim Henson.
Yeah.
You guys ever see Night of the Meek, the Twilight Zone episode?
No, not that I remember.
My memory.
Okay, season 2, episode 11. You know, they're going to do the marathon on Sci-Fi Channel pretty soon.
Sure.
So no, it's a good one. Rod Serling, written by Rod Serling, obviously, but you know, you never know. He didn't write all of them, most of them. Directed by Jack Smite. So this was the star of this one's Art Carney.
Okay.
And he plays a department store Santa who's a drunk.
Okay.
Right? But like he's ashamed of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's one of those where he goes to a bar on his break, he comes back and he meets there's a 50s kid who's a bit of a brat, sits on his lap and, like, Mom, this Santa's loaded, which is hilarious.
Right.
And it's like, you should be ashamed of yourself. He's like, I am ashamed. And then you get into like this kind of like the sob story where like he gets really sad this time of year because it's basically like people like, it's like Christmas, you're focusing on the wrong thing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he stumbles outside, he gets fired and he gets yelled at by his boss and stuff. And he stumbles outside into the snow and walks into an alley, and then this cat knocks over some garbage cans and stuff, and this bag falls out. And a bunch of old cans come out of this sack. And then you hear jingle bells, and then he turns back over and he looks at it. And now, in Twilight Zone fashion, the cans have all become like gifts. Okay. He's like, what? He's like, what's going on? So he picks up all the gifts and he walks out and then he's excited and he's doing the George Bailey like Merry Christmas everybody. So he goes to like a halfway house where they're doing like a church service over there, and you find out that he just starts asking people like, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for Christmas? And then you find that the bag can produce whatever somebody asks for Christmas. And so he's like, I can't explain it. I don't know what's going on. I just know that every time somebody asks for something, it's in this bag. Right. And he's like, so I can't explain it. I don't know what's going on, but for as long as this bag is doing this, I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like running around. He's going to like all the poor people in town and stuff and helping them out and everything. And then of course, the police start to get involved because his boss thinks that like he's giving stuff stolen from the store. Mm-hmm. And so it's very much like the Santa Claus before, like 50 years before the Santa Claus.
Right.
But it's again like another like sweet like Christmas is for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. Let's remember to give. Let's remember to help the our neighbors. All of that, and it's it's got all that wrapped up into this, and it's got Art Carney playing a drunk Santa, which is awesome. Right?
Sure.
You guys never seen that one?
I don't think
that
so.
One does not sound familiar.
Okay.
Sounds cool.
The marathon's coming up on New Year's Day, right?
Yeah, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like a good one.
Love it. No, it's a good one. It's a really good one. I could go all night, guys. I could do this all night.
I've got one that we didn't. I think we talked about it in the end of like, oh, I can't believe we didn't get to it, and I didn't want to miss it this time. And that's the Justice League episode, Comfort and Joy. Everyone remember that one?
I do not remember this one.
Oh, I remember this one.
It's one of the few. It might be the only one that's like a half hour, because the original Justice League was like 2-parters, so you could have a good cliffhanger between episode 1 and 2. I think this is the only one. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zach. Do you remember any of the other ones being just a half hour?
No, you're right. This is so Justice League was all 2-parters or 3-parters. You're right. This is the only half hour in season 2.
That's right. There were some 3-parters too. Right.
Right. And then And then, so not to be confused, when it became Justice League Unlimited was when it became the half-hour show, when it had a loose rebrand, but continuity all stayed the same.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's written by Paul Dini, directed by Butch. Was it Lukic?
Yep.
Yeah, from December 13th, 2003. That's how long ago this was. Hard to believe. But yeah, it follows various members of the Justice League of the original 7 for that the animated stuff. Basically getting together for different things. Well, I said no, the Flash one is standalone, but he teams up with somebody else, not one of the characters from Justice League. But there's a Green Lantern Hawkgirl bit where Jon Stewart is trying to show Shiera Christmas and snow, and then they end up going to a bar to have a drink, and then it turns into a raucous bar fight.
Yeah, an alien bar.
An alien bar, that's right. An alien bar. And it turns into a big bar fight that's kind of like her way of celebrating. And then there's the Flash one, which he's after the rubber ducky.
Yeah, he's after the hot toy of the season. So he goes to like he goes to like an orphanage or like a children's hospital or something, and that's the toy that they all want, and it's sold out everywhere.
Right.
So the Scarlet Speedster goes on the hunt for this.
I think he goes all the way to Japan, right?
Yeah.
Then he goes all the way, gets the last one. Ultra Humanite, he gets into a fight with him on the way back. He gets destroyed. The duck gets destroyed. Ultra Humanite is touched by the fact that he's upset over it and offers to fix it. Right? They kind of have a truce.
Yeah.
And then
Christmas truce.
And then you find out that the Ultra Humanite has changed, modified the toy.
Yeah.
Not nefariously, but just kind of to be funny.
Okay.
Yeah. To recite Shakespeare or something. Like he cultures it up a little bit.
Something like that. I can't remember for sure. But my favorite thing about it is my favorite part of it. I mean, I like those two pieces, but the one I really like is John Jones going to Smallville with Clark for Christmas.
Yeah.
He's not quite comfortable. Still, he's kind of a little standoffish, but he gets to see Christmas through their eyes. Has the great bit of Mom and Pa Kent having to say that they had to wrap Clark's gifts in lead foil because he liked to peek, which I thought was a great bit. But no, like there's a bit with it, like a girl that is questioning the existence of Santa Claus, and John kind of plays goes I think if you remember correctly, goes to the wall or whatever and pretends like he's up on the roof. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, and she's left the cookies out for Santa.
Mm-hmm.
And he reaches his hand through the chimney and pulls the cookies and eats some, so the crumbs are left over, so she thinks it's Santa.
Right.
And it's the first time, because we all know Martian Manhunter loves Oreos. It's the first time that's shown, that's depicted in the series.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good stuff in that. I'm with you. I think that Superman Martian Manhunter segment chapter is the best.
Yeah.
I think it's also the first time we see Clark, right? It's the first time we see Superman not in the uniform, and we see him like in the glasses and stuff back home. And there is a bit of Clark letting his hair down and like John, like Clark, I've never seen you like this. Like this is,
right.
and you get to see that he's just sort of like a big kid about Christmas.
Right. Yeah, I think we see him like in Smallville in the Dr. Destiny episode, but we don't see him out of the costume. I think you're right.
Yeah. No, it's a really good one. Like his parents have a gift for him, and it's terrific. Dini is really good at this sort of stuff. I think he does a lot of like these 3 plot stories and a lot of things that he's written.
Mm-hmm.
Holiday Nights is sort of like like all the segments are like beginning to end, right? Beginning, middle, and end. Segment 1. Segment 2, beginning, middle, end, right? This one, it's sort of like it jumps around a lot, but he does this format in a lot of things. Like I'm thinking like Almost Got Him, and was sort of this format loosely. There's a Brave and the Bold episode he did called Bold Beginnings that was sort of like this format. He's really excels in this kind of thing, and he's good with holidays.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah, he's got a knack for getting in there and getting exactly, it's not schmaltzy. It's just really nice bits. That's why I like. That's why when we were talking about the last episode we did about this, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Didn't get to that one, and that's a great one. So
yeah, it's got a little bit of everything too. It's
Yeah.
got like the tenders one. It's got sort of the funny flash bit, and it's got the action side of things with with Jon Stewart and Hawkgirl,
Right.
getting smashed at a
Mhm.
at an alien bar and fighting.
Yeah, an alien dive bar and get in a bar fight.
Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, do you have any like quick hits you want to give us, or you want to save some stuff for the next
Oh, my
round
God.
of this whenever we come back to this?
I got so many I left on the table, which I can preview. There's a Full House episode I didn't get to.
Okay.
There's another Batman animated series. There's a Batman Brave and the Bold Christmas that we didn't get to. I will leave on this one. This is a new one. This is one that just came out.
All right.
And I'll leave on the on this one. So this is called The Shepherd. It's on Disney Plus. Just came out like a couple weeks ago. It's a short film, so it's only like 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's written by Ian Softly, written and directed by Ian Softly, based on The Shepherd by Frederick Forrest. And stars, I gotta look up the guy's name. I think Ben Radcliffe. Not related to Harry Potter. I checked. And John Travolta.
Okay.
And this is like, I mean, it's clearly like a Christmas thing, but it's also like there's not lights everywhere. And so the idea is in this one, it's follows a I don't know what they call it. Excuse me. It's the British Air Force, right?
The RAF.
Yeah. And so it opens in that, and there's like a softball fight. There's a snowball fight going on outside.
Softball fight.
Yeah,
that sounds kind of cool.
That's painful.
Yeah, right.
Snowball fight going on outside, which kind of sets the sort of like, things are slow. We're letting our hair down. Things, you can have fun, and it's important for one reason, but it sets up a little bit like the tone. And our hero is on the phone with his mom and his sister because his leave was not approved. So he's not going to be home for Christmas. And then so he's later on in his locker changing, and then the guy walks in with his arm in a sling. He's like, "What happened to you?" He's like, "You're not going to he's like, "I got hurt in the snowball fight." Right?
Right.
So he can't fly home. He was granted leave and he can't fly home. And so the guy, our hero, jumps on it. He's like, "Well, since nobody's going, am I okay to go ahead and fly basically across the North Sea so I can go home for Christmas?" And it's granted. It's a clear night. Everything's shutting down. He's going to have the skies all to himself. Nothing else is going on. And so he flies out, and he's out over the North Sea, and all of his instruments in the plane start, his compass is like, woo, he's having like all kinds of electrical failure, and he starts losing fuel. And he's just trying to get hold of anybody that can listen to him, that help him, because he's flying blind. And it turns out what was supposed to be a clear night, that there's actually a fog rolling in, so he can't even see where he's going visually anymore, right? And he's out there, he thinks he's gonna die, and then there's another plane that is piloted by John Travolta that's out there and helps him out. And I don't want to say too much more, but it is Christmas related, because there's a lot of like Merry Christmas and a lot of like gotta get home for Christmas, that kind of stuff. Right. But it's really good. It's really good. It's on Disney Plus right now. Like I said, just came out.
All right.
Looks beautiful. They spent some money on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good new one that probably a lot of people haven't seen yet. So
yeah,
that's a nice one to add to the list. So that's our second wave so far. To close out before we go, I was going to just open up the chance to bring up some non-Christmas holiday themed episodes or specials for this time of year. So any specials episodes for holidays around this time of year that aren't Christmas, or at least not specifically on Christmas Day episodes. You got any, Zach?
Yeah, I do. God, we got to do this again because there's a Mad About You. Like my favorite Mad About You we didn't get to. But
next year.
But I'll do Mad About You for this. So Mad About You did a New Year's episode in season 4 called New Year's Eve. And season 4, I think, is when the show for me started to go downhill. But this is above and beyond, I think, the best episode of that show. And so Paul, who's a documentary filmmaker, is doing a documentary on the guys that dropped the ball on New Year's Eve.
Okay.
And so he's going to be working, and he's, for the first time in their relationship, they're not going to spend New Year's Eve together. And basically he has a moment where he's like, they both have a moment like, this is ridiculous. Like, I want to be with my wife. I want to be with my husband. And when the ball drops, because I want to give her a kiss, when the ball drops. And as he's directing the guys that are doing the ball, for the sake of what makes a better shot, he's going, can you go this way, go that way, right? And he tangles up the ropes that they're using on the pulley system, and the ball gets stuck, right? And so you have people like all in New York and Times Square just going like 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, like in the countdown, and which is all for like hilarious reasons. But the beautiful thing about it is that Jamie shows up on the roof. And it's played out that like he held New Year's Eve until she got to him. Right. And that's sort of like the beautiful thing that show did all the time. So that's a great one. I love that one. I spoiled the hell out of it, but it's still good. Watch it.
So the one I got that covers this topic is Rugrats Hanukkah from 1996. In this one, Tommy and the Rugrats gang want to learn the true meaning of Hanukkah. And while they're being told the Hanukkah story by Grandpa Boris's friend Shlomo, they imagine themselves to be the Maccabees in the story of the Maccabees. This one's notable because I think it is the first children's show to ever feature an episode on Hanukkah in 1996. And it was pretty notable at the time. Like, I watched Rugrats just because I've always been into animation. So I always, would watch whatever was out there. But like, Rugrats was a fun show and like kind of like to push boundaries sometimes. And this one, like, I remember because I actually learned like a fair amount about Hanukkah from it, despite the fact that I wasn't young at the time. Like, I wasn't very young when this came out. Like, I certainly was not young in 1996. And had known about Hanukkah my whole life, but it was interesting to see it told in the way that we're so used to the Christmas story being told and conveyed throughout the years, to present it in easily understandable information, and it's representative to kids in the audience that weren't being represented in media at that time or before that time. So it's kind of a groundbreaking episode, and it's a lot of fun to watch, especially if you like Rugrats at all. But yeah,
that's cool.
Taught me about Hanukkah.
1996 sounds like, wow, so long ago and early to do something like this, and so late at the same time. It's so fun,
right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Holly, like, TV had been around 50 years.
Yeah.
So that's the one I got. So that covers our entire second wave of our favorite holiday Christmas specials and episodes. Let us know if there's any that we missed of your favorites. Let us know what you think about any of the ones we picked. You can check out all of our past episodes at our website, letmeknowhowitis.com, as well as anywhere you find podcasts. Just please, if you enjoy the show and feel so inclined, give us a like or follow and leave a review. It really helps us out. Finally, if you would like to suggest a topic, send it our way by email at info@letmeknowhowitis.com. You can also reach out to us on social media, wherever you find us. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, thanks for listening.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.